Hey there,
Okay.
everybody. Welcome back to the Gamerpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. Today I have a very special guest with us. I have Francis with the Global Gaming Guild. Hey there.
Hey there, everybody. Yeah, my name is Francis, and it's a pleasure to meet with you, Bradford.
Absolutely. So, Francis, why don't you go ahead and just begin by telling us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Yeah, I actually am a community manager for my Facebook group called the Global Gaming Guild. I started about like 2 years ago. Before it actually under a different name. It's called the Global uh, Esports Gaming Community. And then it just kind of like it started off as like a way to kind of advertise this esports get together type of deal where I wanted to host tournaments. And I actually there's like a long story behind it where I was actually trying to get a bunch of gamers together to organize an event for Call of Duty. That was like the first game I had in mind back when it was like really hyped up, and I wanted to get everyone into a tournament. So what I did was I went around. I went to an anime convention down in Rosemont called Anime Central or ASEN, and I went and I just cold approached everybody. In there was like this one gaming event. Like I think it was like a little section over at the Donald Stephenson convention, and I went and cold approached everybody. So I was able to get at least like 35 people interested
Okay.
into joining my event. And so I also struck up, a deal with another venue, which is called the Gaming Goat. It's like a card company, and so I borrowed their venue so I could be able to organize the tournament. And then I, so I had set for like May 30th. That's when the event was supposed to take place, and I had everything set up. I had like the Xboxes and the Call of Duty games all set, ready to go. And then the only thing was that, it didn't pan out the way I wanted to because you know, I meant no one came. So I had everything set up. I actually ordered food even just to kind of like get everyone interested. And then so it didn't turn out it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. So in the end, after that bomb, so I decided to kind of shift focus from promoting an esports tournament over to just like building the community on an online, just like online focused. So I grew it from like I think like around 200 to over 1,000 members now.
Yeah, that's
So
absolutely fantastic. In just 2 years, you were able to grow it to 1,000 people. Now, before I kind of really get into that, I want to ask you the same question I ask every other guest on my show. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, how weird are you, Francis?
I believe everyone has their own idiosyncrasies. So I would say that I'd probably be a 5. I mean, I'm not really that weird. At least I don't think I am. But I try to at least be as normal as possible.
I love it. I love that answer. Oftentimes gamers will come on and they'll be like, I'm easily a 12 because I play Call of Duty. I'm like, that doesn't make you weird. All right. So this is the Gamerpreneur. So I would like to get your gaming cred first if we can. And then I want to learn kind of about your community because it really struck me when I first learned about it. It's a non-toxic community. It's an accepting community. And that's something you don't really see too often. So I want to get to that. But first, I want to talk about you if we can. So when did
Sure.
you first start playing video games?
I started when I was 6 years old. What happened was, like at a time, my family and we went over to Canada to visit some family and friends. And I actually had an older cousin who lent me his Game Boy. And I remember the first 2 games I got interested in were Nemesis and Super Mario Land. And that opened my world. I just became so engrossed in this like little device that where you could just move and interact with like little images, and I was just fascinated by it. So, and then next thing I knew, I asked my grandma if I could have one bought for me. And so I kind of asked her like repeatedly until she kind of caved in, and she bought, like, I think it was like during my birthday, my 7th birthday, when she actually laid a little surprise on the couch. And then I saw like a little gift present on the couch, and then I opened it up. It's like, oh my God, it's a Game Boy. And I just got really excited. It was like the best day of my life.
That's wonderful. Although I have to say, Super Mario Land, that was a bear of a game to play.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a really awesome game. That was probably like one of my first loves. I just, I probably played it so many times that I knew like every single level by heart, and I knew the music, and it just, I mean, it holds a special place in my heart. So.
Oh, absolutely. Even as you were talking about it, I have like the music do 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 like going through my head right now. So
like how old were you when you first played the game?
Oh, Super Mario Land. I don't remember what year the Game Boy came out, but it would have been maybe like, I would have been like three or four.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. I started on the NES myself, and I do remember the Game Boy, and I think it was too big for my hands when I first got it. Because, when you're a little kid, this thing was like ginormous.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, it was. It was kind of like a little hefty too. But, yeah, at the same time, I mean, it was just like a big part of my childhood. Like I had so many games. I used to take it with me on during like family trips and vacations. And
a huge stack of batteries, because that thing just sucked those batteries dry.
Oh yeah. I especially remember during the times when it was like nighttime, and I used to turn the light on, like back in the day, when your handhelds didn't have like backlit screens. So I kind of had to I just had to like be able to play it, kind of adapt to like the lighting conditions and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I remember, driving in the car in the back seat, or my parents were driving. You got the Game Boy, and you got to see by like the street lights as they go by, right? Like, I can do something. Otherwise, it's like,
yeah,
like, I can't see anything.
I remember it all too well.
All right. So what do you play now?
What do I play? Well, I've actually been going back to playing Minecraft a bit. It's just a game that I can always come back to and relax. Like I especially like playing survival mode, just because like it kind of like ties in with this current situation. It's like where everyone's in survival mode, basically, kind of like hoarding stuff. I mean, well, I'm not that I'm a hoarder myself, but it kind of plays into that behavior. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. I love the game, so Absolutely. It's just something I can always come back to over and over again.
It blows my mind that people are still playing Minecraft like as much as they are, because I played it like 6 years ago, and like I was really into it. People were really into it back then. It's like people are still playing this one game, but I guess it's essentially Legos, so that never goes out of style.
Oh yeah, it kind of brings out the inner kid in you. I mean, I just love. I'll go on YouTube and I'll just like look up like all the creations people build, and I'll try to kind of emulate that. I'll try to copy what they've designed and incorporate into my own map.
Oh, sure. All right. So, Francis, what is it you do like in real life? What's your profession?
My profession? Well, right now it's not gaming related. I actually run a landscaping business. Also window cleaning. I do window cleaning on the side, and actually, I haven't been doing it too long. I actually started like last year, right around July, and I've been slowly building up my clientele and just advertising around the neighborhood, asking people if they need lawn care or their windows clean, and that's been kind of a way to kind of establish my living.
And that's fantastic. Like you are the perfect definition of a gamerpreneur. You're an entrepreneur who plays games. And the mission of this show is to prove or to disprove that myth that gamers are lazy, unmotivated basement dwellers, that they just sit there all day just playing their games rather than going out there and making stuff happen. And like you're fantastic. You're doing it. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, thank you. You know, I still feel like I have a long way to go, as far as because like what I want to do really is just I've always had this thing in the back of my mind of wanting to open my own network gaming center, and that's always been my first thing. Like, that was the whole basis behind starting my Facebook group, the Global Gaming Guild. Was I wanted to kind of lay the groundwork for starting my network gaming center and just having this venue where all the gamers can come about and just congregate and socialize and while playing video games with each other.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about your Facebook group for a second. So you kind of gave us the backstory on how you started it, but what is the community like? What's the culture like there?
Well, so yeah, everyone there for the most part, I try to make everyone as welcoming and friendly as possible. You know, like attracts like, so ideally the kind of people I like in my group are those who are very easygoing. They're not really concerned with console wars or arguing over which console's better or trying to shame other people for being involved in certain things like cosplay, you know, or shaming female gamers or just like anything negative. I try to eliminate that within my group, you know, so try to make it like a very easygoing community where people feel welcome and invited.
Okay, now is that a lot of work doing that? Do you have to like wrangle all these people, or have you just developed the community so that it just doesn't even happen?
Well, actually, I just kind of established my rules up front. So when people join my group, I just tell them up front like what my group is about and what I will accept and not accept. And people right away they'll either join or not join, you know, if it's something to their liking. And for the most part, it's not too much maintenance at the moment. So that kind of makes it easy for me as well as the other admins and moderators who I have on my team.
Okay. Now, did you ever expect your group to get as big as it has? Because I mean, 1,000 people. There's people out there like, oh, I got this many, but you know, 1,000 people is a lot of people, and especially on a Facebook group. So, did you expect it to go so quickly?
Well, you know, actually, it took a time for me to build up, and well, what I did on how I grew it was I just basically joined other groups, and I was sending messages to people like random people asking if they could join my group, and it was something I practiced like on a near daily basis, and that's how I was able to build my group. And then sometimes I had friends like if they were seeing what my group was about and they were enjoying the content and what I was putting out, then they would sometimes invite their friends, and that's how the group kind of gradually grew on its own. And sometimes I was also like doing I don't know if you ever heard Quora.
Yeah.
But sometimes people ask like about the non-toxic communities, like they'll ask them the questions, and then I'll fill them out, and then that's when I'll talk about my group. And you know, like even now, I'm actually getting people from Quora that were able to find my group through that site. So it's kind of interesting where people come from.
Absolutely. That's actually a very unique way of doing the advertising for a group. You don't really hear anybody talking about Quora.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I found it out through YouTube. I'm always looking at videos on how to market. That's also one of my other passions is marketing, so just to kind of like put your name out there and let people be aware of what you're about.
Certainly. Are you marketing in any other ways?
Marketing, I've marketed on Craigslist before. That has gotten me a few people. Also, I've also advertised on Instagram. That's also like one of my other driving sites where I'm able to get other members to join my Facebook group, and then also vice versa. You know, I'll also sometimes I have people from my Facebook group join my Instagram, and then I have my own little community there. It's not as big. I only have like maybe around 700 people right now, but I'm kind of hoping to expand it more and be able to at the same time use it as a platform where I could advertise my merch and whatnot.
So you do have stuff for sale. What do you sell?
Right now I sell T-shirts and mugs. At the moment, I actually sold 4 T-shirts recently. I actually had one of my buddies. His girlfriend is a graphics designer, and she designed a Spyro the Dragon T-shirt just like a couple of weeks ago, and we were able to get 4 sales in the first day that the T-shirt went live. By the way, the T-shirt's on Teespring, so it's really nice. It's a print-on-demand site where you could basically start anything from scratch with zero investment upfront, and all you have to do is just do the marketing, and then they'll take care of everything else, like everything from the shipping to the customer service and everything.
Fantastic. All right. So where do you see your group going in the future? Where's this brand going for you?
I'm kind of hoping where I could be able to get sponsored. I've heard of other groups being able to get sponsored from other brands, and so that's what I'm kind of hoping to do in the future, as well as maybe like kind of create like a brick and mortar version of the Global Gaming Guild. Like I was talking about earlier with my gaming network center idea, and just be able to have gamers congregate and meet and just socialize and be able to game with each other.
Fantastic. All right. So I'm going to talk about you again for a second. We can't pull back from your group.
Sure.
What unique skills do you think you have that have been able to get you kind of to be able to create this group, to be able to help you start this business of yours? What makes you different from other people?
Well, first off, I consider myself a pretty easygoing guy. I love getting to know people and just being able to build relationships. And also, another thing is I love networking, and excuse me, I love having people to connect with each other. So if I find someone that likes something, and then another person who likes something similar, and then I like to kind of bridge them together and to form new relations. And so I'm kind of like a matchmaker of sorts, which is something else I really enjoy doing. And as a matter of fact, I have a little story where actually I had one guy before. He was a moderator for my group, and then I actually hired someone for my group, another moderator, and they were both living like entirely different states. My friend, he actually lived not too far from me. He lived in Oakland, and then this other girl, she lived in Arizona. And then one day, they messaged each other. I think it was like some help with some horror assignment for school. And then they started talking, and next thing you know, they were gaming with each other. And then I didn't find out until like a little later that they were dating, at least long distance. And so when I first heard about it, I was like, oh my God, that's so cool, And they were seriously considering meeting up with each other. And at the time, I actually took a trip to Colorado. And then I think it was like not a week after that they decided to meet up with me there. So it was like kind of like a union of sorts where we all met with each other at the same time in Colorado. And we ended up having coffee, and we were dining out. And it was also their first time meeting up with each other. So it was cool. We were all getting to know each other.
Not like you were a third wheel or anything, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they, I mean, like it went really well. I also had another buddy who met up with us there shortly thereafter, and we had this like little camaraderie going on, and it was really nice. We had a lot of fun. We actually went out snowboarding, for like I think the fun weekend, and we did all kinds of fun things. We were gaming. We were like kind of going out to different places, checking out like gaming shops and whatnot. So it was really cool.
Okay, fantastic. So now I'd like to ask you, if I can, if you could go back, 2 years in the past when you were first starting up your Facebook group, and you could talk to little Francis and you go, little Francis, I have some advice for you that'll make the next 2 years just go way better than it did for me, what would you say?
I would tell him probably to maybe try to network more, I guess, because I feel like I didn't do enough of that before, and I think that's what kind of stunted my growth. And because like they say, your network is your net worth. So if you know the right kinds of people, then that could really take you far.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, say somebody is just starting up a Facebook group for the first time. Maybe they don't quite know what direction to take it, but they just hit that button, started a group, and now they're like going for it. What advice would you have for somebody brand new?
I would say join as many groups as possible, and then try to you know give value, contribute to the group, and then get to know some of the people there. And if you find a few people that kind of where you hold similar values or you enjoy the same things, then you can pitch them to join your group. And then also ask them if they know other people that might be interested in joining your group. And that's how you kind of gradually build from the ground up. And I was able to build organically that way. And that's basically all I did, because otherwise I didn't know any other method to really grow. I mean, at the time when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. So I just basically sent everyone like random invites via Messenger, asking if they'd be interested in joining.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. You were saying give value. What does it mean to give value? How do you give value in a gaming Facebook group?
Give value? I just create content. I share something that's interesting, whether that's like a news article that I find interesting, or I share artwork, memes. Generally, that's what kind of people like. People like to laugh, so I try to add humor whenever possible. And also, I'll ask open-ended questions just to kind of get to know people, And then I throw all sorts of things just to kind of get people talking.
Okay, wonderful. Now, I'd like to kind of pull back a little bit more, talk about you. Now, we've talked about, what you've done and what you've built and how you're growing. If I can, I'd like to ask something that's kind of humbling question. And what's something that you have failed at?
What's something I failed at? Well, for example, there was one time where I tried to, going back what I was saying earlier about when I started to build my esports gaming event, the Call of Duty thing, and I, at the time, I just had no idea how to organize an event. So I was just trying to see what made the most sense to me. So I was just trying to get people interested, and I even threw like a bunch of like free things. Like I was giving out free pizza. I was giving out free invitations and whatnot, and I still couldn't get people interested in it. So so I started asking like some of the people who've thrown events before, like, what should I do the next time to make it more successful? And they told me that maybe if you had people pay in advance, then that might get them more committed to coming to the event. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't care. So that's something I learned. I actually want to do something like that again. I haven't done it in a while, but that's something I want to do in the future, as far as throwing an event.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you for that. Now, Francis, how do people find you? Where is the Global Gaming Guild? Like, how do they get you on social?
Where is it? It's on Facebook, and people can join it just by looking it up on Facebook, and that's how they find the group. We also have a presence on Instagram. I also have one actually on YouTube as well. My friend's actually managing it. It's still very small, hasn't gained much traction, but we're hoping that we could create more content for it in the future. My friend actually creates music. He plays tunes from like famous Nintendo games mostly, and that's kind of how we're trying to draw more people in, is through his music also. So he's kind of been helping me on that front
Very
as
nice.
well.
Okay. Well, Francis, I really do appreciate you coming on with us today. And before we wrap this up, is there anything else you'd like to talk about or anything I didn't ask you think we need to cover still?
Well, actually, no, I think I'm pretty much satisfied with what we have talked about. So I really appreciate the honor of being on your show, and it's been a pleasure. Just trying to get to know you as well a little bit. Having reached out to you on Instagram, and being able to watch all your content and just being inspired. Actually, it was a very interesting, like all the people you've interviewed, and I just really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And the honor is mine. Thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate.
All right, everybody. Francis with the Global Gaming Guild. Please go check them out. Their group is amazing. It's absolutely non-toxic, non-judgmental. It's a wonderful little community. All right. And on that note, Gamerpreneurs, I'm going to say you all take care.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, if you like this podcast, I'd love to invite you to check out a little bit more about me, Dr. Bradford Carlton, Gamerpreneur. If you go to my website, www.thegamerpreneur.com/bonus, I'm going to give you a free copy of my book, The Warcraft of Business, where I explain my history in both gaming and business and how I brought the two together in order to create some very successful companies and help a lot of people. And all you got to do is pay for shipping and processing, and I'll send you this book. I absolutely know you're going to love it. All right. You all take it easy.